Okay, do the founders want to remove the white restriction for registration? Why was white allowed at all if the intent was a solid brown dog?
Now that's, I would like to talk to that. You know, that has been one of our bigger problems. Due to the gene pool of the dogs that we talked about early in the development, naturally you have a lot of white, and I can sympathize with these folks because the gene pool had that in it. We tried to breed it out by first crossbreeding and then backbreeding and then crossbreeding. And brown has a distinctive, to me, use. Number one, if you got to have a dog in a blind, and if you're hunting turkeys in particular, you want a dog that doesn't have any white on it, because a turkey got a keen eye and he can see that dog's gonna be excited seeing that turkey out through the blind brush. And I think it's a good factor to have that dark color. So we kept trying to do that. And says, what?
Maynard, wasn't one of the reasons that they docked the tail was because in a turkey blind they didn't want it to
That was-
lather the leaves and that?
If you had, my dad always put that, we had dock-tailed boykins.
Yeah.
But in the blind, he'd always move the leaves around where that dog was gonna sit.
Taking no chance on that.
So if you
Yeah,
wag
take a
that,
chance.
that dark tail, it wouldn't.
A turkey is a wise fella. He's smart. So anything can spook him. And then we came down to the point, which is, I think somebody's gonna talk about that, is if the white is there, it's got to be a small, measurable, and we had guidelines for measuring. And, but you know what? I was on that committee that people were able to bring their dog or puppy to see whether it was acceptable white or not. One fella from Sumter had a dog, and he brought it wasn't one that we bred, but he brought it to me because I was on that committee, and I looked at it, she had about 3 white hairs. He said, well, you're the last member of this committee that I've been to, and said all the rest of them turned it down.
Well, you were chairman.
No, I was, at that time, I think I was on a committee, it might have been
You were
chairman.
chairman of the registry committee.
Yeah, okay. And he looked at Tilly. I said, Tilly, what do you think? He said, oh, there's nothing to that. I said, there's nothing. It might even drop out when he gets older. He said, would you like to have that puppy? She says, oh, no, no. And that puppy reached up and kissed her in the face and said, you know, I think I will keep it. And she was a good hunter. And that was Maggie. And that's the last Boykin Spaniel we have owned.
Really?
Yeah. So I just thought I'd inject that thought. And also Eddie Durant told us this, you will either have a show dog or a meat dog. You keep this field trialing, you're going to end up with a dog that's not going to be worthy for hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned his name.
Yeah.
And I answered your question, I think.
It's all right.
Yeah. So,
Well,
if anybody has another question.
well, I want to interject this about the white. According to what Don calculated, in 1981, 74% of the dogs didn't have a problem with white, but 26% were rejected because of the white. By 2017, 91% of the dogs were acceptable, had either no white or acceptable white, and only 9% of the dogs were rejected for too much white. So that is real progress between 1981 and 2017. So, and, you know, I think because of our gene pool, we could have said no white, but then our gene pool would have been a lot smaller, and I think that would have been bad for the breed. I think that it was a trade-off.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that it was good that we had as many dogs in the foundation stock, and we did not reject dogs with white, because we would have rejected a lot of good hunting. And it shows that we have gradually declined the white and probably saved a lot of the hunting ability too, so.